There's a little nook in my house, two walls facing each other, the gap just wide enough for one person to comfortably stand in the middle, or two people if they want to snuggle. It's just before a door, so if you close the door, you basically have this supported place. Three things behind, one door behind you, and two walls on either side. I like small spaces a lot. Whatever the opposite of claustrophobia is, I have that. Silent, cozy, tiny spaces. Whenever I'm inside this nook, I have to pass it to go in and out of that door. So, whenever I'm standing in this nook, I am overcome by this desire to do the tree pose, Vrikshasana. So I stand there and I stand on one foot, uh, put up the other foot, up crosswise onto my touching my thigh, and then I put both my hands up in the namaste position and then lift them high up above my head. I used to do yoga a couple of decades ago, long before it became a thing. It became a done thing, in thing, cool thing. There were all these yoga teacher training programs. None of that existed. There were very few teachers who studied it in the traditional method and then they take classes in a very unfancy way, very simple, unfancy, basic way. And I loved those classes. Every evening at 6 I'd go to this place. There's a hotel where right on the roof there's this covered room, and our yoga teacher had rented that place. It had glass windows all around, so it was a beautiful view of the city, the surrounding area. And then you stood there doing yoga. We didn't even have yoga mats. We'd carry these old traditional mats to the class, spread it out on the floor, do the yoga on it. It was kind of like, an old room with peeling paint and very simple, unused place. And it felt so good to just focus, breathe, go through the poses. After a while, I stopped practicing though. Like the classes stopped, and I had to travel out of the city for a couple of years. And while I was away, initially I would practice once in a while, and then laziness, life, whatever you, whatever you like, pick, got the better of me, and I lost track of my practice, and it dwindled away. Oh, by the way, this is the feel good factor. I'm Susmita Veganosaurus. If you're here for the first time, welcome. Good to have you here. If you like what I share on this podcast, then you're going to love my free newsletter, The Feel Good Tribe. It's full of stories, mostly entertaining ones, but yeah, sometimes they have some kind of a tip or an inspiring message. So go to my website veganosaurus.com/newsletter and sign up. You'll get a confirmation email. You need to hit confirm and then you'll get subscribed. You'll get a welcome email. Read it, reply to it. I'd love to get to know you. Anyway, moving on. During these yoga sessions, my flexibility, my balance, all of that had been great, and also a couple of decades ago, I was much younger. uh, all of it was great, but because I lost practice, slowly all of that also went away. So now, whenever I do the tree pose, I'm not able to hold the balance as easily. I tilt a bit or whatever. I'm not able to do that as well as I used to. It's not as steady and firm as it used to be. But whenever I do it in this little nook in my house, oh wow, you'd think that I do tree pose all the time. You wouldn't believe how firm and steady I am in it. And that's because I know that I won't fall over. I know there are these two walls on either side and the door at the back to support me. And because I'm not afraid of falling over, my balance is naturally so much better, because that fear isn't there anymore. This is a psychological thing, right? Purely psychological, but it happens. It's true. It actually makes an impact. This is what having a safety net, a support system does to you. Whatever you want to start, like say you want to start a business, then make sure that you have a safety net, a rainy day fund, a support system around you. Don't start it without that. Or you want to start a creative project, have a setup, have this time when nobody is going to disturb you. Set things up in a specific way. Anything you do, there is a world of difference in the way you do it when you have a safety net and when you don't, when you have a support and when you don't. Even you see, like, in the circuses and stuff, people who are doing all these trampoline, all these other shows, you see that there is a net below, for them to be safe. And if they don't have a net, it's kind of stupid, right? Like, there's nothing, so you're not going to fall anyway. Even if you think I'm not going to fall anyway, don't have the overconfidence. Just put it there. Having that net makes them braver. In fact, it's the same with when we are learning to skate. There was this time when I was rollerblading, learning to rollerblade, and I made sure that every time I would wear, my knee protectors, elbow protectors, wrist protectors, helmet, all of that. And because I put it all on, wouldn't be afraid to fall. I could do it in a much better way. I learned faster because of that. And even after I had learned how to rollerblade, I never stopped wearing all these safety gear. Because here's the thing about safety gear, safety net. It exists not because of, when something would go wrong. Though, yes, you'd think that it's there because you're like, okay, what if something goes wrong? Therefore, I have this, Yes, that is its basic purpose. But there is a deeper purpose to it. Having all these things in place, having a safety net in place, makes you braver, makes you, there's a huge part of your brain that the part which is afraid, the fear center, whatever that is, always worrying, always stressing about, oh God, what if something goes wrong? Oh God, what if something goes wrong? That doesn't even have to be deployed when you know that, okay, if something goes wrong, I'll be fine. Huge difference. I always say this to my, the consultation clients who come into, they take business coaching from me, vegan business coaching. I always tell them, make sure you have enough funds when you're investing in your business, when you're starting it. Make sure you have enough funds for 6 months to a year, depending on the size of business and your overheads. Have that much kept aside that you do not touch. And then you run your business. Yes, we all want our businesses to become profitable immediately and, pay for itself and all those things. But that's a dream. It's not easy to establish, start and continue to run a business. It's very rare where there's the profitability is hit immediately. So assume, okay, yes, you hope for things to go great, but assume that something may go wrong. Or be prepared for something going wrong, and keep things ready for yourself. Keep a safety net, strong foundation ready for yourself. Same thing with whether it's your household or creative project, even at work. Backup person for you. If something happens to you, somebody else should be able to take over, to be able to run things, even if it's temporarily. Make sure you have that. When we had our restaurant, we would train several guys in the same thing. Like across departments, people would be trained. We would make everybody an all rounder to the maximum extent possible so that it's not very dependent on one or two people. There's always a backup. So if a person needs to take off, step away, whatever reason, they can do it calmly. And we can also be calm about it because there's somebody else who can do that work. So, where in your life are you running without any safety nets in place? See where you can put them into place so that you can do it. You can do whatever you're doing, continue to do it with complete peace of mind. And from that place of calmness and peace of mind, without that fear of things going wrong, you will be able to tap into so much creativity, such better solutions for everything. You'll be able to thrive and grow in a much better way. So, yeah, here's to you doing your tree pose in a nook that you've created for yourself. All right, talk to you again next week. Thank you so much for listening. I'm so glad you were here. Again, I'm Susmita Veganosaurus. This is the Feel Good Factor. Sign up for my free newsletter, The Feel Good Tribe. Link is in the show notes. Take care. Bye.